Okay, it's the beginning of September. We are definitely in meteorological autumn now. It's almost as if Mother Nature flicked the switch overnight from summer mode to autumn mode because it's blowing a gale outside. And the weather doesn't know where it's coming or going, which is great if you're trying to fill something for YouTube, because you need 3 hours long to do everything. And if you haven't got 3 hours of the weather, you end up getting wet. I had planned on doing a video on changing the sprockets on my A3ML here. As mentioned in the previous video, I want to put a larger rear sprocket on to make hill climbing a bit easier, as well as improve the acceleration. And so what I thought I'd do is, I can't do it on that bike, but I've got the A3K up here on the bench, which I need to do a bit of work on, and which includes gaining access to the front sprocket. So I can kind of demonstrate on this bike what I'm going to be doing on that bike. More of an explanation than an installation though, unfortunately. Right, take that off there, put the nut back on to protect the cotter pin, and tap it through. Right. Now you may be wondering why I'm actually lowering the gearing on that bike, considering it's got performance in the kit and all the other goodies that go with it. And essentially, I have improved the performance of the bike, but in reality, it's just a power to weight ratio. I would have got the same effect by going on a decent diet, to be honest. And it's actually a combination of the engine as well as the gearbox and final drive gearing that determines how the bike performs. And so with stock kind of 26 tooth, 22 tooth gearing with a kind of performance cylinder kit, bigger SHA carb, decent filter and expansion pipe exhaust system, you look around about 43 miles per hour top end. Somebody weighs about 14 stone. You'll have the same kind of top end if you're a little bit heavier and a little bit lighter, because essentially that's where the engine kind of maxes out its RPMs. Acceleration though, that'll be quicker if you're lighter, it'll be slower if you're heavier. And what a lot of people do is they'll have to maximum speed on a moped. They really want to push the envelope, as it were. So what they do is they fit a larger front sprocket. And there's a downside to that, unfortunately. And I'll explain that now as soon as I get this cover off. You see, when you fit a larger front sprocket, you're effectively changing the actual ratio of the first and second gear on the other side of the gearbox. And you're essentially making the first gear a lot higher than it was before. You're essentially making it a taller gear, sometimes it's called. And it's not great trying to pull off in first gear when you've increased the size of that ratio. Just imagine, if you've got a car trying to pull off in second and third instead of first, it's the same thing. The engine's got to work that a little bit harder, and so it takes longer to accelerate. And so it still changes to first to second around 18, 20 miles per hour, except it's taking a lot longer to get there. If you're quite light, less than 10 stone, you will have a bit of acceleration there still. If you're like me and you're, 14 stone in the nip, you're not going to get it, unfortunately. The other downside, which I'll have to give you a close-up on now, is that the stock 26 tooth is fine, it's plenty of clearance. You can get 27 tooth front sprocket on there. It just about catches the inside of the case, but it doesn't jam. But the 28, it'll go on, but it'll get stuck. So you've essentially got to kind of grind away this part here of the magnet housing. Anything bigger than a 27, you've got to start removing this material from here, which again causes another problem as you start filling up the magneto with oil, water, dirt, whatever that's being picked up by the chain. So my preference is only to go for 27 tooth tops and don't modify the magneto case to avoid contaminating the magneto with anything that shouldn't be in there. Right, when the weather improves long enough for me to change these sprockets, here's what I'm going to be using. This is a 24 tooth rear. It's got a large diameter hole in it, which will suit the alloy wheels on my A3ML. If it was for a spoke wheel model, have the smaller diameter hole, although these PCD here for the bolt holes is the same on both wheels. I'm not sure what makes this one, but something to be aware of it. Sometimes the center hole is not concentric with the actual teeth. And so what happens is, as the wheel rotates, it does this slightly oscillates. And this causes the chain to run tight and then slack in turn, which causes a bit of a nuisance when you're trying to set the tension on it. At the front, I'm using a 26 tooth OEM quality one from TuneIt. I've used these in the past. I tend to pick them up when I find them because it's nice to have something that's actually branded rather than one that isn't. If you actually find one of these that's got Tomos actually stamped on it, then you know it's a really good quality sprocket because it's from the factory. If you are thinking about changing your sprocket sizes, there's a formula on the Moped Army website. I think you can Google it and find it elsewhere, but that's where I found it. And you essentially put in all the details of your sprocket sizes. I think it's the wheel size as well. And it will give you your theoretical top speed afterwards. Now, when I did a 27 tooth on the front, 22 tooth on the back, I think it gave me extra 3 miles per hour. So it's not much, to be honest. Because I'm putting a 26 on the front, 24 on the back, using those kind of top gear maths, I should be losing 6 miles per hour. And it doesn't bother me on a bike that's capable of doing 43 miles per hour. Most of the roads where I live are 20 miles per hour because I live in Wales, yippee. And there's a few 30-mile-an-hour ones, and there's about one 40-mile one, which I sometimes go on. And if I can keep up with traffic on that, then fine. But the important thing for me is that I use that bike for commuting a lot. And so I need to kind of be able to accelerate at junctions quickly and keep up with traffic. And also climb hills at a decent speed that stops people from going in the back of me. What I don't want to do is fit a 28-tooth front sprocket and keep a 22 on the back and give myself 50 miles an hour top speed in theory. Yeah, it takes ages to get there. If I weighed 9 stone, then yeah, I'd probably consider it, but I don't. So yeah, I'd probably only use this on a bike that I'm building for outright top speed. So that is going to go back on the shelf for another project. Right, as I can't work on that thing because of the weather, and there's not enough space in here to work on it inside, I'll give the reason why I took that side cover off the A3K, and that is because I need to change this HT lead here. It was kind of joined onto this car one when I bought it with a bullet connector. I want to put the proper cable on there because this is not a restoration project, it's a preservation or conservation project. I want to keep it as original as possible. The actual sprockets though, while it's all apart, actually look quite good. I'm going to leave them as they are. The teeth are fine. They haven't kind of swept over the top like a crest of a wave. And the rear is the same, so it just needs a chain fit into it. There is a video in the Tomos moped playlist on removing that nut there because it's really tight, as well as checking your chain and sprockets for wear. So that might be as useful viewing if you haven't seen already. Other than that, I'd like to get this bike kind of sorted in the next few months, to be honest, because it's been on this bench for a long time. And I've got another bike that I'd like to put on it. It does need brake light switches. It needs a new rear brake lever because you can see the pivot is snapped by there. But yeah, everything else is good on it. Oh, I think the Speedo cable as well, because that is iffy. I think the inner's fallen out of it. Okay, so this didn't turn out the video intended, which was changing the sprockets on the A3ML outside in the yard, but it did give me a chance to work on the A3K here. Anyway, with that, I'd like to say thank you to all your subscribers. It is much appreciated for your support, and take care. I'll see you again soon.